All right. Well, looks like we're live. Jensen, you want to give everybody the lead in?
Yes. Hello, all those that are watching, if any. And simply put, Doku is in charge here. He has things he needs to tell you. People need to hear this shit.
Simply put, Doku is in charge. Oh God, let me kill this fucking phone real quick.
Great start to the show.
Gotta love that, don't you? But we've at least got 4 people watching. Thank you everybody for joining us. It's early, I know, but this needs to be addressed. There is a website called DonaldTrump.watch, and on this website, they provide a database of people who have donated to the Donald Trump campaign, whether it was in 2015, 2016, or if it was current year. They have your first name, last name, how much you donated, when you donated, your cumulative donations, when your last donation was, and through using Google Maps, they do have your geographic location. This should concern a lot of people because this is not just, oh, you donated to the Trump campaign. On Jesse Miller of the Crow's Nest stream last night, we went through this and we confirmed it using not only the address of people, we went through Google Street View. These are not businesses. These are not apartment buildings or anything. These are people's homes. They have your address, your first and last name, because you donated to a political campaign. And they got this information from the FEC. And just to prove that I'm not bullshitting you guys, I will go ahead and pop screen share up real quick. Just give me a second. This should worry you. So I'm going to go ahead and hit share.
On it. Yep.
All right. So now that that's pulled up, here you go, ladies and gentlemen. Data provided by the FEC.gov. There you go. So we know where they got the info. Americans that give money to support a racist. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. So you can search by street address, city, state, but all you need is a zip code. Or you could do this. Let's do this one first. Browse by name. Let's what do you guys think? You want to go with Q, R, S, T, U, V, Z?
Q is weird and different. Go with it.
All right, Q it is. So here you go. Q.
Let's save this coin.
So there's only 2 pages. Let's go to page 2 and let's look at on the last one there's only 1, 3, 32. Let's check out 32. Here you go. Look at all these people. And they have your state, obviously. Illinois, Arizona, Ohio, Colorado, Florida, California, Florida, Illinois, Nevada, Wisconsin. Let's take let's go ahead and look at Peggy from LA. Wow, $525. Here is her address. I don't want to show this actually. I really don't want to show this. We're gonna go back.
Click back.
So yeah, that should give you a good idea of what this website is. And this is just your name database. And if you don't believe me, you think that's an outlier. Let's check out another person. Let's look at him. There you go. $4. Address. This person. Same thing. Oh, look at him. So that's Q. How about we check out A? Look at A. 42 pages. Let's go to the last one. Look at all these people. All in this database. You can access this publicly, by the way. I don't know how this is legal. I really don't know how this is legal. But let's go ahead and check out a zip code.
I'm guessing it's either a case of the police have been too sloppy to find this out, or these people have found some incredible loophole.
Again, I'm just typing in random numbers. So, okay, here we go. 22556. I don't know where this is. I know this is 95, but you can check this out. There you go. There's someone. There's someone. This is 22556. I don't know where that zip code is. I'm not doxing anybody. I have no idea where this even is. But this is all publicly available information. Whether it's legal or not, I don't know. But this is a database of people who have donated to the Trump campaign, whether it's 2015, 16, 17, 18, 19, or current year. And that this is what you get. Street address, city, state. All they require is a zip code.
Yeah.
This should scare the crap out of you.
Yeah, even if this is still technically legal, which I'm skeptical of, it's still dodgy as fuck.
And I love this right here.
Vomit has asked a question. It's the Federal Electoral Commission.
Well, Vomit, to answer your question. There you go. I think that's rather self-explanatory. But last I checked, releasing somebody's private information, their first, last name, their address, how much money they donated to a political campaign, I believe is illegal. I'm pretty sure it's illegal. I like this one as well. This is a privately owned website that is not affiliated with any government agencies, yet data provided courtesy of sec.gov. Does this seem contradictory to anybody else, or is it just me?
Oh, very much so. When I saw this, I will be honest with you, I thought, oh my freaking God, America is in a really bad way. I realise, being a Brit, I've got no dog in this fight, but come on, guys. This is something that needs to get out there, and it needs to be told to everyone you can get it out to, because they can find anybody that has given money to Trump. So if that's you, they can find you. All they need to do is take the address and go into Google Maps, Street View, and they can literally look at your house. Okay? Be afraid. This is not something that, you just ignore. This is serious shit, people. This is something that, quite simply, if you don't shit a horse, something is wrong.
Yeah, this I find. I know individuals love symbolism. Those who can make you believe absurdities can make you commit atrocities. Fault here. What is this? So it's almost like they're spitting in your face by doing what they're doing. So let's look at two other. Oh well, there's some more we're gonna look at. But let's look at this first. Assuming it decides it wants to load. Give it a second. So yeah, you go to the contact us page. They want your name, email address, mobile numbers, optional, subject, whatever. You have to obviously type something in. These are the required fields, and you have to say I'm not a robot, because they got this wonderful this thing provided by Google. So notice they don't have an email address for themselves. And again, just to prove that I'm not bullshitting you guys. See, same thing here. No email address, no phone number. They want you to give your information. But where are they? That's the contact us. And again, just to prove it, there you go. Contact us. So how about privacy? This is a fun one. You guys will love this. Privacy. Nothing here. Check this out. Yeah. Nothing.
Yep.
Not a damn thing. I'll even just to make sure I hammer this home.
Hey,
Nada.
Batman.
Hello.
What's up,
Yep.
man?
Not much. So, minority report. What's the minority being reported?
Apparently, if
They,
if you donated to the Trump campaign, apparently.
So what?
they
So what? People
contract
have done
you.
it. Right, that's
No,
kind of excessively illegal.
That's what
Yes.
we've been saying.
And that's why we're trying to tell people. And by the way, when I say they can track you, the site will give them the address, which they can put into Google Maps Street View, and they can look at your freaking house. They can come
Right.
directly to you.
Right, I'm going up on my roof right now and put the words "fuck off" on top of my roof. Then I'm going to donate.
So I want to point this one out too, real quick, before I get into what I proved on Jesse's stream, so that this is not just bullshit. I love this part. You will use the services in accordance with the terms of use and any additional terms, conditions, rules, or procedures imposed by PSMG. We'll get to that in a second. By third-party content or service providers that may apply and applicable to laws and regulations. You're already breaking that.
Yep.
You agree to be bound by the terms and conditions of our privacy policy, which is not existent, which are incorporated herein by reference. Again, non-existent. These terms of use are legally binding agreement and the equivalent of a signed written contract. You have received, understood, and accepted these terms of use and terms of our privacy policy. Ladies and gentlemen in the audience, do you remember that privacy policy that I showed you just a minute or two ago? The one that doesn't exist?
Which they keep they're doing that so that they can change their terms of use policies or whatever as they see fit, and because you've accepted them, you accept any updates and changes.
Yep. Yeah, so let's go ahead and look at some of their terms of use real quick. This one right here doesn't really amount for much. Yeah, you're not allowed to solicit, whatever. Now, this is the one I find the second most interesting. use the services in a way that abuses, defames, stalks, annoys, threatens, harasses, or violates the rights of privacy, publicity, intellectual property, or legal rights of a person or entity, now or hereafter recognized, or which encourages conduct which would violate any law or give rise to civil or criminal liability, or post, publish, transmit, distribute, disseminate, or upload any inappropriate, infringing, defamatory, profane, indecent, obscene, lewd, lascivious, filthy, excessively violent, or illegal / unlawful material or matters, including, without limitation, information, topics, names, or other material. Kind of what you've already done.
Mhm.
Now, combine that with these last 2 points. Disclose personal information and or collect information about others, including email addresses, without their prior consent, or violate any applicable domestic or international laws or regulations. Well, this entire website is in violation of that. And that's in accordance with, because I am going to put you guys on blast. Copyright 2019 Public Service Media Group Incorporated. Well, seems to me your entire website is in violation of your terms of use. So what I want to know, who
Not
set up this website?
necessarily. Not necessarily. The terms of use are for the end user, not the people running the website.
Ah, see, and that's where this comes in.
Hi, Cass.
So
Hey, Cass.
Hello, Cass.
What's up, guys?
I just got to say, who the fuck hired a bunch of Indian scammers to make an official website? What is this fucking phishing shit?
Yeah, no, dude, like I said,
Hello,
this is
hello.
crazy.
My
This is
name,
absurd.
my name is Michael, and I shall be designing your website.
No, yeah, this is crazy. But let's get back to this. So, what you're saying, the end user. The terms of use are effective until terminated by either party. Users may terminate the terms of use by discontinuing their access to the site or services. The privileges granted to you under the terms of use will terminate immediately and automatically without notice from PSMG if it is in sole discretion you fail to comply with any term or provision of terms of use. Upon such termination, all licenses granted by TSMG you hereunder will terminate, and you will no longer have permission to access the site or services. 2, the following rights and provisions shall survive in perpetuity. A, all licenses granted hereunder to you by PSMG. B, all provisions of these terms of use entitled limitation of liability and indemnification, disclaimers, limitations, waivers of liability, all other disclaimers of warranties and liabilities.
Indemnification.
Thank you. And C, all provisions providing in whole or in part that users shall defend, indemnify, or hold harmless PSMG or third parties. In other words, PSMG is the one that is hosting this website. We do not know who the person is or the group thereof that is running this website, but we know it's at least this. Copyright 2019 Public Service Media Group. Now, according to what they have just stated here, this website is in direct violation of at least, and just give me a second, ladies and gentlemen,
1 Mississippi.
2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
You said a second. It's been longer than a second.
You know he's just going to take longer, don't you?
It seems this entire website is right here in violation of all of this. violates any applicable local, state, national, or international law, or
I would
advocates
agree.
illegal activity.
I would agree, but I would also caveat it. As far as we know,
Well,
if they've done their homework, which, let's face it, these people usually have. Not saying they have in this case, but usually they have. If they've done their homework, they will be covered.
so I'll give you pushback. Violates any applicable local, state, national, or international law, or advocates for illegal activity. Obviously, they haven't advocated for anything, but let's go back to the purpose of this website in general.
Yeah, but hold on. You're going to go on about privacy, right?
Oh,
You're going to go on about privacy, but you signed the end user agreement. That means you voluntarily signed away your right to privacy.
Oh, but I haven't, because I didn't sign up for anything. If you want to check this out, let's just go to I don't need Google Street View, although I will be using that later. Well, I'm already on Google. Well, it doesn't really matter.
Ah, yes, good old Gargoyle Street View.
I was gonna say it's really odd because all of this has the characteristics of a phishing website you would usually get from an email from someone being like, well, someone tried to get into your stuff. Why don't you conveniently just
Yep.
start it through this
Oh.
link?
You get that from not Amazon and not PayPal all the time, don't you?
What does it want me to do, Donald?
Yeah.
There we go. See? All right. I don't have to do anything. I just click on the website, it brings it up, and then all I have to do is this.
Yeah, that is actually illegal because that is illegal surveillance.
So 20176.
I'd say this is probably doubly illegal in the United States because it's going against your constitutional right to express your opinions, to vote for whomever you so wish.
So I take it this is an offshoot of the Dog Watch, which is usually designed for looking up your area for anyone caught who's in the sex offenders registry. But instead of this, it's just political. It's not
So
even
just to prove to you that this is not bullshit.
Oh,
So we know who this is. This is provided to me by this website. I have taken that address. I am going to now go to Google Street View
so wait,
just to prove to you that that's not bullshit.
they're literally showing you who donates to the Trump campaign.
There you go. There you go.
What do you expect to do with that information? That makes like no sense unless you got something in mind for that.
Target people, because
Yeah.
see, I just found them. I know where they live.
You got the
No,
exact
you-
address and it shows you where it is.
Yep, and now you've got
It's on-
that stuff. You can find out more about them, and you can fabricate stuff about them and pester
Again,
their employees until they get sacked.
Again, it's on Google Street View right now. So
Or just conveniently throw the address to some Antifa nutcase.
yep. See, look at that. Look at that. That's a residential area, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
This is not a business. This is where somebody sleeps at night. And
Oh,
I know where they live because of this. Now let's pick a different one. Just so that you know, I'm not giving you the runaround.
It also has to draw some questions if this is like
Boom.
showing
There
you
you
who
go.
donated.
Look at that. That's not a townhouse. That is a house.
That's
All
an
I can see,
exact address.
all I can see is the
And they have an American flag out front. And you know where I figured out where this was?
Makes you kind of
From-
wonder where they're getting the financial information from too.
all we can actually see is the website. We
Yep.
don't actually see in the house or anything.
Oh, well, hold on. Give me a
Not
second.
that we don't believe
Wait, no,
you.
it's probably best if we don't.
I don't
just
disbelieve I don't disbelieve you. There's like several different types of websites just like this, but for different purposes. It's usually
Mhm.
unusual that they're political though, so this is breaching some lines. But like I just find it odd. So okay, let me get this straight. Not only can you find people's address, you also get to know the exact amount of money they've been donating. Isn't that also
Yep.
a breach?
It
I
is.
have a similar website, not a website, but I have a similar setup on Google Earth, but it doesn't tell me
I'm gonna-
donations or amount of money. It's just so I can look at my relatives' houses.
I'm gonna stop sharing the screen.
They do the same with
I'm
me.
only going to. Let's
Oh.
see. Can. I don't want to actually show this.
Sorry, dude. I do not know what I'm doing. The fact I've got this working, doing
Jen-
well.
No, you're fine, Jensen. I'm actually trying to figure out.
Jensen,
Yeah.
you said in the chat there's no Biden Watch site. You don't need that. All you have to do is look for people with the out to lunch sign in their eyes. They're Biden supporters.
That's true. I'm actually okay with that statement.
All right, Jensen. I'm gonna share this screen. I deleted the address.
Oh, Doku, just on an aside, somebody commented on a YouTube site. Yeah, that's frightening. That no left wing. There's been no deaths by left wing activists since
And
1990.
and this is the thing.
Yeah, you're
That's
right,
the thing.
man.
I picked this address randomly.
Mhm.
That is definitely somebody's house,
Yes, it is.
Oh shit!
and
That's
This is-
a
this is
well-to-do
Google.
residential area.
this is Google Street View. There are no businesses.
Nope.
This
That's the
is
kind
a
of.
this is
I
a
bet there's kids
residential
live there.
area,
I bet
and
there are kids there as well.
I would guarantee you there probably is. Like I said,
Pull
that
up-
is a
pull up-
residential.
Pull that street view up again, just out of curiosity. There's something you can usually tell from the way the street's set up, if you don't mind.
Oh yeah, give me a second. But yeah, there's a reason I'm saying this is not bullshit. It's actually very
Yep.
scary. It should scare everyone that
Yes, it
this
should.
even exists.
Like it says, I've got a reason for you to pull that street view up again.
It's
All right,
yeah.
let me know.
1 minute.
Still waiting.
Yep, it's my fault.
Here we go.
And
Yeah, there we go. I mean, look at those houses. Just pan around a bit. I mean, for I'd say middle class Americans, they look like first time
Yep.
buyer homes.
And hey, look, they even got the basketball hoop.
Yeah,
It looks like a rather nice neighborhood.
yeah. Like it says, they look like for middle class Americans, those are first time buyer houses, aren't they?
Well, that is, of course, until Antifa discovers this site.
Yeah, but they I'd say the vast majority of those people who live there will be young families.
And that's the thing. We're looking at this, and again, and hell, this is just the pipe stem. Look at all these houses. There's only one person I found that was on that list. How many of these houses do you think are actually Biden supporters? I'm guessing at least one or two.
Yeah. The thing is, if all of them were, apart from that one house, the nut jobs have a go to come down there and they're going to wreck the entire cul-de-sac. Oh yeah, that guy over there is probably a Trump supporter as well, with the stars and the American flag.
Right there.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
And see, that's the crazy thing. You have a database of people. All it takes is one, but now this entire neighborhood, all these people are
Targets.
technically at risk.
yeah.
And the only crime they committed,
was
donating
exercising their constitutional right.
donating some money to a Trump campaign.
Yeah. But like you said, it's an aside. This guy said on this video I was watching, his comment was that there have been no left deaths caused by Antifa or Black Lives Matter since in the United States since 1990 something. I looked on Google and that's the official thing, but I still doubt this very much.
The problem with that argument is you can make the claim that left wing extremists haven't killed anybody. Well, yeah, that depends.
Yeah. Hang on a second. Didn't a BLM guy actually shoot a kid in the head like a couple of months ago?
Yeah. The thing is, if you put that in Google search, death by left wing extremists. All you get is death by right wing extremists.
That's just
I think they actually relabel left wing extremists right wing extremists if they kill people. That would not surprise anybody here, would it?
No,
Not at all.
Why else do you think they're getting sued?
I'd actually be surprised if they didn't.
That's the thing. Left-wing extremists can usually disavow someone very easily because they jump and skip and hop names so frequently that they can say, like,
it's ma'am.
It wasn't one of us. They weren't Antifa. They weren't BLM. They were just...
It wasn't true communism.
They were just the students from Democratic Society.
They were Trotskyists. We're Marxists.
Yeah, they were just the students for Democratic Society, or they're just the Weather Underground. They use it as a way to absolve
Salvation Army.
And that's the thing. So let's say, like, the right wing extremists, they're more guilty. The left wing can disavow because they say, well, they're not part of our group, but they're still left wing extremists, and they have killed people.
Got one for you. You know, you've got the Salvation Army, right? Well, yeah, you know, you go into a hotel room and you'll find a Bible on the bed, and there's no way you can think of that anybody could have gotten there and put the Bible in the bed. You know who did it? The Salvation SAS.
But again, just to prove my point, and
it's very Orwellian, Doku.
It is, and just to prove my point and drive it home, I'm going to share screen again. So, I didn't know this. That actually looks like New York. Yeah, that's New York.
Yep.
So
that's specifically Manhattan.
Those who can make you believe that they can make you commit atrocities. What?
So here we go.
Because if you look over there, you can see Spider-Man sightings.
So just to prove this point,
Nellie the Smith.
Trump donor. No, that was in 2020.
This just makes me wish I had money to donate to Trump.
So we'll go ahead, and I'm going to jump back over to sharing.
That's a good question. Is it possible for us to donate internationally? And if so, would this actually dox us as well?
Yes, it would, more than likely. That's what's disturbing.
Yep. Well, if they try and dox me, all I'll get is a picture of a disused road with a road closed sign halfway up it.
And again, I'm only doing this just to prove I'm not full of shit. That this is indeed true. So, you guys saw that I just went to that website.
Yep.
I picked a random person, just happened to be New York. There you go.
Screen share again.
Would be
there we go. Hey, that's a nice looking place.
It actually is a nice looking place. Especially whoever has this place right here, I'm kind of jealous. I mean,
is that New York, New York?
That is indeed New York.
So that'll cost 4 times as much as it's actually worth to live there.
Yeah, I mean, check that out though. I mean,
yeah,
it's a nice looking area. It's a really nice looking area.
Hold on, isn't that the street what Friends was on?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it is.
Just the side the front of that building looks awfully familiar.
I can see. Check this out. We can see all of this. Wow, that's a nice look. Well, whoever lives there. Wow, a little jealous. Not gonna lie, a little jealous. But yeah, check that out.
Yes, I wish I owned that street.
Nice looking neighborhood.
Yeah.
Very nice looking neighborhood.
If I owned it, I'd move in all the immigrants.
I bet
So
you would.
basically, you're turn to De Blasio. We get the idea.
Well, when I say immigrants, I mean like immigrants who could actually afford to move there.
But yeah, isn't that absolutely crazy that I can go onto a website. I don't have to sign up. I don't have to do anything. I can figure out where these people live. I know their first name, last name. I can see where they live. I can go onto Google Street View. I can see. There's no way this is legal. I don't see how.
Do you know how bad it's getting? And I'm delving into entertainment here. There is a horror comedy. I'm forgetting the name of it out. I think it was made this year, and it deals with I think it's Harlem, fighting back against gentrification and vampires. Obviously, white vampires.
Of course.
Okay then.
Thank you, folks.
But yeah, no, the whole reason about this, the whole reason that we're doing this stream is just to bring attention to this, because this should scare you.
Yeah.
Especially the legalities of this should be focused on how they're getting this information in regards to the people's financials, in regards to donation.
That's easy. If you donate online to anything, you submit your name, your address, and financial details. So,
but the thing is, a third party should not be able to acquire that information, let alone publish it and put it out there for someone like me to just say, "Oh, you donated. I'm just gonna take your address and put it into Google Street View, and hey, now I know what your neighborhood looks like." That is illegal as shit.
Yeah, that is more illegal than dressing Yorkie up in a sheep outfit and hiring them out to Welsh farmers.
Yeah, not only going to go more blackface, terrorists of peace.
Well, again, not only is this illegal, but the fact that
it's immoral.
Well, the fact that they say they get their information from the FEC. Oh, who gave them that information? Someone should have known this is illegal. And they openly advertise on their website that all this information was acquired from the Federal Electoral Commission. How did you get that info?
Well, that just shows how corrupt the Federal Electoral Commission is.
I just want to say I decided to test a little something. I tried to see if it would work in Britain, and I just found any generic London zip code, put that in, it kept saying something went wrong. I even dragged the map all the way to England, and it just doesn't find anything around there.
So it's an American site, is what you're telling us.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm okay with that, but damn.
I mean, shows that it's either they've missed a few parts, or it's a case of they can only track this stuff with Americans, which is odd because you think you'd find
Righty brings up a point. Righty brings up a point here in the chat saying companies sell your information to third parties. It's in their TOS. Except we went through the TOS earlier in the stream, and giving out personal information, i.e. your first and last name, how much money you might have donated to a political campaign, or your address without consent is explicitly stated in the terms of service of the company hosting this website to be against their terms of service. But no one said anything about it. This website is still up and running. And their last update was last night. We checked it on Jesse Miller from the Crow's Nest stream. They are still actively updating this information.
Yep, and I'm going to verify it. Pulling up Google Earth now. I've wound the string back so I can get one of these addresses. 1105 Huntmaster Terrace.
Again, I've gone through about 10 of them now, and they all check out.
Yeah,
These
I
are
100
people's legitimate addresses. I'm not saying
well,
that
you are lying.
I think you disagree or don't believe me. I'm just okay. CQ.
Oh, yeah,
Just
We
fine.
gotcha.
And yeah, righty. Yeah, I saw that you said you just joined. That's fine, dude. I'm doing not only goes against their own terms of service that they have laid out for everyone who uses the website. It's illegal. They flat out say using this type of information that goes against state, national, international law is illegal and it should violate their TOS. But somehow this website's still up. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks out from an election. Again,
And it's been going on, and this has been going on since the previous election. Like, we know there's been at least June 2015.
yeah, this
Who's
information
going to
goes
bet
back
that
not
this
just.
entire thing gets shut down soon?
And
There
Jensen?
you go, dude. Go on. Who, in that case, who bets that this entire stream is going to get shut down by YouTube long before it actually gets out to anyone? This is why I'm saying to people, tell others.
I bet you
Even
it's
if
funny.
you can't do it normally, just find a way of telling people this shit has to get out there.
Oh yeah,
They
I
did
agree.
say under the guise of, doxing because we were proving that this site does that or whatever.
Well, yeah, they'll definitely use the whole "you shown this on stream, therefore you're violating this or that." Blah 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 blah. Take it down. That's kind of how YouTube works.
Oh, you
Any
know what?
weak excuse they can make.
I don't care if they actually take this stream down or try to suppress it or whatever the powers that be decide to do. Get the word out that this exists. This is not us. We did not set up this. We did not set up this website. We're not the ones that went to the FEC who got this information and put it into a database. We're blowing the whistle on this one. We are the
Yeah.
whistleblowers.
They're making this shit public as it is with no regards to legalities. I'm just pointing out that YouTube is extremely hypocritical in the legality department, especially.
No shit, shut up.
Oh, and that's why it's important. Anybody that is listening to this, anybody that is privy to this information, let people know, especially if you know someone who's a friend or family member who has donated to the Donald Trump campaign, whether it was in 2015, 2016, or whether it was in this current election cycle. Let them know that they potentially could be on this database and it could put them at risk.
Also, if anyone around here is a bit more tech savvy, it'd be useful if one or two people archive the stream just in case it does get shut down.
Yeah.
Almost certainly try, but what I have available tends to wait a while until the stream is fully rendered. So if that's the case, I can probably download it and archive it.
Oh yeah,
So-
I doubt it'd get shut down that fast. It'd be
Speaking
more
of-
like, a week
Yeah,
or something.
especially well, in regards to being tech savvy, I think that's an important thing that people need to learn nowadays.
Yeah.
Especially that everything's being more integrated to the internet. I think it's important to people to realize just how tech works and how you can help use it to, let's just say, release less information about yourself, especially going forward. Hell, I would not recommend touching the site with a 10-foot pole unless you got a shit ton of proxy chains and reliable VPNs, because I guarantee you, if you're touching this with your IP address, it's probably going to fuck you. Don't trust websites like that.
Ooh, Von Sausage
Right,
made a
righty.
point.
I was going to say, Righty's just said, hello. A lot of companies sell your information to third parties. It's right there in the TOS, but not the Federal Electoral Commission, correct?
It shouldn't. No.
Say.
And that's kind of the bigger concern is the fact that they openly state that they got this information from the FEC. That information should never have been leaked. Not your first and last name, not your address, and not how much money you donated. I don't know where to begin with this one.
It's so many kinds of wrong, it's not funny.
Yeah.
it's scary because I was talking to Jensen about this off air. So what this tells me is that whoever set up this website, they either had an in or a contact within the FEC,
Mhm.
and they leaked that information so that this website was able to come into existence, or it's somebody within the FEC who created this website to pursue a political agenda, or this information was acquired at a bare minimum using illegal means, whether it was hacked or whether it was intentionally leaked. Either way, this website shouldn't exist. It's clearly against, as a public service group, whatever they call themselves. What is it again? Because I think these guys should be put on blast as well.
I think the guys who are running that website should be put behind bars.
I agree. And I can't go to their contact us because they don't put that information out there. They just want
Either that or they should be bundled into black vans in the middle of the night, forcefully dressed in parody versions of the Prophet Muhammad costumes, and dropped off in Front Street, Tehran.
Oh, here we go. The name of the group that has the copyright for this website, and I would assume is running it. Public Service Media Group Incorporated. So, by their own terms of service, this is already violating
Their own
state.
terms of service. Yeah.
Well, it's violating their own terms of service, and it's also violating United States law. It's also violating international law, putting this information out there. So it either tells me that A, you're working with someone within the Public Service Media Group that acquired this information illegally and is putting it out there, violating their own terms of service, or the Public Service Media Group is working with the FEC to put this information out there, violating state, federal, and international law.
Mm-hmm.
Either way, this is illegal, and it reeks of collusion. There is absolutely no way that this happened by accident, especially considering that this information goes back to, well, the copyright goes back to 2019, but on the website it says one of their updates goes all the way back to 2015. So this is not new. We're hearing about it now, but this is not new.
Yeah, no, it's really not.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I interrupted Yorkie early because he wanted to point out something that Vomit Sausage said.
Vomit Sausage suggested putting this onto a BitChute, which is a good idea, but yeah.
Well, and Jensen, if you're okay with it, I would suggest that anybody who wants to mirror this stream or archive it, what have you, as long as Jensen gives the okay, I would say go ahead and do it, because this is something people need to be warned about. Because again, what Public Service Media Group is doing, what this website is doing, what the FEC is doing, since they say it on their webpage that's where they got the information from. Not only is it illegal, but we've already seen that these are people's homes. Maybe one person donated to the Trump campaign, but let's bring up a more disturbing proposition. Let's say your wife is a Trump supporter, but your husband's a Biden supporter, and your wife donated $20 to the Trump campaign. Well, now you have a roaming band of idiots or morons who go to this database and figure out where you are, where you live. And because your wife or your husband decided to donate, well, they decide to light your house on fire. Well, your husband didn't do it. Your kids aren't old enough to vote, but now you're putting their life in risk. You're putting their lives in danger.
Yeah, there's an even worse idea. What happens if somebody stole your credit card and donated to the Trump campaign?
That's true.
No, seriously, Jensen.
Oh, and also taking this to a more unfortunate but another logical conclusion. Since we were looking at those townhomes in New York City,
Yep.
one of them was a Trump supporter. I don't know about their neighbors; they weren't listed. So if you light one house on fire, what if that house spreads, or what if that fire spreads to the house next to them, or
It's
the
bound to
street
happen,
over?
Yeah.
So what did those people do?
Well, you're
Maybe
doing
they're-
fucking crazies. They'll take like, oh, you got like one guy who donates to Trump, therefore this entire community is contaminated and must be exterminated. Let's be honest, that's probably going to happen.
Yeah.
Yep. I will now give full and absolute permission for people to do whatever they feel they need to mirror it, etc., etc. Have the bloody thing. I am giving full permission. That way, there's no question as to whether or not it exists.
You're dealing with fuckos who will go out of their way to just destroy anything they can get their hands on, including the entire communities, just based on what one person believes in.
Oh, and that's the thing. I only found out about this because of Twitter, with the one person posting that piece of paper where it looked like someone had taped it to their front door and they ripped it off, saying, "You've been added to our database as a Trump donor, and I hope you have insurance. Hope you have good fire insurance. If Donald Trump refuses to concede the election, then you're the one that started this civil war. Yada yada yada, et cetera, et cetera."
Is that a threat?
It's an open threat. It's an open threat, especially if you're taping that. I'm assuming this was probably on somebody's front door.
Jesus Christ.
Well, if you're
Yep.
at first I thought it was kind of a joke where it's like, maybe this is like a 4chan thing. Like, I didn't take it too seriously until I ran across this information where there is a database where you can find where somebody's front door actually is. Well, now it has a lot more weight behind it because again, we're talking about one person in a neighborhood who decided to donate. Maybe it's just $20.
Yeah,
Maybe it's
like,
only $2.
it's like a cup of noodles price, like $5 or something.
Yeah. I just want to point some out. Vomit suggested giving this info to Tim Pool and Styx X and Hammer.
Would be
Around as far
surprised
as
if
you
they're not.
can.
I'd be surprised if they're not aware of it already. But I think Tim Pool briefly mentioned it yesterday in one of his videos, if I remember correctly. But I haven't seen anybody except Mr. Obvious talk about it in the sense that how incredibly serious and how incredibly dangerous this actually is.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's for a lot of different reasons too. It's not just physical. I'm not going to elaborate into this, but let's just say if you know anything about tech enough, you would know that if you can find someone's address, you can also find what their routers are, the general IP address, their networks. It wouldn't be hard for some very persistent people to compromise everything you have, to invade your privacy even further, to install all kinds of shit on your stuff, and to compromise your financials even further.
Such as that, they can find out where you work, where your kids go, where your wife works, where your kids go to school. They can find out everything about you and use it all.
There's a lot of different types of illegal activity this shit can prompt people to do, just based on this.
That's the reason
they can usurp your identity, and you can end up going to prison for something you didn't do.
Also, apparently, Mr. Obvious mentioned this. Just thought I would bring this up.
Well, that was obvious.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that's actually the reason I wanted to talk on this particular subject. And normally I don't try to focus on these things. And I don't like to do live streams this early in the morning for my time, and I don't like to bug Jensen. But this is something I do think is incredibly important to talk about. And I know we only have 11 people watching right now, but I really do implore everyone who's listening to this right now, DonaldTrump.watch. Let everyone know about this. Put this out there because not only is this illegal, but it is incredibly dangerous. And
Yeah.
maybe one person is a Trump supporter. Okay, whatever. The fact that this website even exists.
Actually, I just thought something else.
Real quick, Yorkie. Spread this information to everyone. Get it out there. Get it far and wide. Do not let this get swept under the rug because this is so incredibly dangerous. Not only does it threaten you, not only does it threaten your neighbors, not only does it threaten your kids who probably aren't even old enough to vote. Not only is this illegal, this is coming from the same type of people who would probably sit there and say, "Oh, what's a threat to our democracy?" and you're just a Nazi. Do you remember what Kristallnacht was? You guys remember that? You studied history?
Not off the top of my head.
Oh, I
Yeah.
do.
What was her name?
If somebody wants to explain it, go ahead.
Kristallnacht was the Nazi version of Night of Long Knives. It's when they got rid of those that were.
The Night of the Long Knives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm aware
Yeah.
of that one. I just never heard that.
Well, the Night of a
before.
Thousand Knives or something.
Yes. Also, I would just like to tell the audience, if they're still listening, hey, I would advise that at all costs, if you would preferably do so, to do not touch websites like this with a 10-foot pole. Never trust these things. And like, even all fun and games will fuck with us, and no, like, don't even do that unless you know exactly what you're doing. Because what these sites do, you can't trust them if they're going to go this far, and they usually do. That's what doxing sites are designed for. Your IP address could be enough to fuck with you in ways.
I forgot to mention that, Cass.
Yes.
Yoku, did you actually show the stream the actual contact me details?
I did. That's earlier in the stream. That's earlier in the stream because they don't give you an email address. They don't give you a phone number. They just want you to put your information in and then send them, and they'll contact you.
Yeah,
don't
bullshit.
do it. Yeah, don't do it. That's a phishing scam. And honestly, I do not like the fact that I've actually gone to these websites and shown this to you, but I think it's important enough that it needs to be put out there. It needs to be put on blast. And you know what? I'll take one for the team. I'll put myself out there. I think my security is good enough, but if it isn't, oh well, so be it. Whatever. And just to address the chat real quick, Righty said, why is there a threat for civil war over Trump getting back in? I'm English, so it's not kept up to date with it. Righty, the best way I can explain it to you is that they don't want Trump to get reelected. They hate him so much that they're willing to go to these types of extremes that it doesn't matter. There is no justification for it other than the fact that you're a Trump supporter, so you're evil, and they will do whatever they can to destroy you. That's really all it boils down. There's no logic to it. It's based on emotion.
Yeah,
They hate you that much.
it's funny how they always
Constitution is stupidity.
it's funny how they always say that they always make out as if Donald Trump's a war criminal. But if they saw an actual war criminal, they would shit a brick.
They voted for a war criminal, if you remember. Got a second term of office before Trump got in.
Yeah, fair
Oh,
point.
righty. By the way, people, I just got a message through saying that my connection was dropped, but I managed to get back in. How convenient this is that I suddenly got a connection problem. Especially with what we're showing. I just thought I'd bring that up so as people could,
I mean,
think
I've seen it
about
happen to Dodger streams quite a few times.
Okay. Just just saying.
Well,
Yeah.
like I said, mark my words. This is probably going to be it's probably going to be a topic of conversation that is going to get a lot of attention over the next 48 hours.
Well, it deserves it.
Yeah.
Shit like this is the stuff that thrives in shadows but withers in the light and does not belong on the vine, to quote Senator Kinsey.
Mm-hmm.
Something I'm curious about is because it's showing all these addresses. Does this shit actually update when that person moves house, or does it just stay at that house? Because if they move out and some poor bastard moves in without realizing this shit, he's got a target on his head for no reason.
Yep.
Well, the only way they would probably get the address is because somebody donated to the campaign and they were living there at that point in time. So if they donated and then decided to move later, it probably still shows up as that address. So
Yeah, probably.
So it's probably just going to be like some random old people in some of these houses. The last person moved out. They just want somewhere cheap to live off their pension, and now suddenly there's a bunch of hoodlums trying to petrol bomb the house.
Oh, and that's the thing. You got to remember, this is just a database. So they're just going off the information of.
Does it really matter?
I guess technically it doesn't.
I mean, it's a database, but data is information. Information is power, and they're using this power quite deliberately, putting it in dangerous hands.
I shouldn't. I shouldn't say this, but I'm gonna have to just to add context to the conversation that we're having. I hope no one with nefarious intention listens to this. And whether they live at that address after making their donation is irrelevant because you have their name. That's what's most scary about this is you have the first and last name.
Yeah, address and everything.
So it's very easy to track somebody down if you have those two pieces of information, which is why I can't see any way that this is legal.
Well, it's not the first moment. They also used it as a threat towards people they've been knocking and basically, oh, I hope you have, all that other shit you mentioned earlier about, I hope you have insurance and all this other stuff. And I'm looking through the videos talking about this currently. Like, that's definitely breaking some pretty serious legal grounds, especially on these threats alone. That in itself is going to cause a lot of problems legally.
Oh, and it's crazy that this website has been around since at least 2019 because that's when it was copyrighted by this public service media group, and I will continue to say your name because you deserve to be put on blast as well, where they say that their contract should be terminated if they violate state, local, international law. The existence of this website is a violation of that. And the fact that nobody has taken it down yet and that public service media group is still hosting it under copyright. Mm-hmm. I don't know what to say about that. The fact that they if I was working for them, I would have terminated this the day I saw it.
Yeah, I mean, it goes to show you how extreme people are going to go, and I can't really say I'm surprised. And here's again, I know I'm emphasizing this, but I think people need to really take the idea of learning some tech stuff very seriously because of how the internet is. It's very easy if you're not very knowledgeable about anything relating to tech. How easy it is for so much shit to just be in the shadows and never be addressed when stuff happens. The only way to protect yourself properly from this shit, and let's just say taking the cloak and dagger out of this shit, is learning how this stuff works. You have to understand that this is a reality you're going to have to understand. There's a reason why this shit happens. It's very easy to do illegal shit and get away with it because most people are cavemen when it comes to tech stuff, and that's bad. It's a very nasty issue that we currently live in.
You call me cave person.
All right, I'm gonna have to screen share this. I'm not sure how I glossed over this, but oh boy, this is nefarious. Jensen, let me know when I'm good to go.
One sec, and add to stream.
So This is nefarious. This again is under their terms of service. If you believe that your user content that was removed or to which access was disabled is not infringing, or that you have the authorization from the copyright owner, the copyright owner's agent or pursuit to the law to post the content in your user content, you may send a counter notice containing the following information to contact address for PSMG set forth below. Now, right there, that should concern you. You may send a counter notice containing the following information because you believe that your information was put up there for, bullshit reasons. So there are 4 data points they want. Your physical or electronic signature, big red flag.
Oh, no.
Identification of the user content that has been removed or to which access has been disabled, and the location at which the user content appeared before it was removed or disabled.
Jesus.
Big red flag.
There's another. Sorry. It just occurred to me. There's another danger for these websites. The amount of leftist companies in the Western world now. Who's to say that your internet provider isn't using this site, looks up, finds you on there, bang, no internet.
Well, again, they've already violated all of this because the information posted on this website, I would
No, you don't
bet
get
money.
What if your internet provider is, predominantly a left-leaning company and uses that website to ascertain that you're a Trump supporter and cut off your internet?
Yeah.
Oh, well, then you're going to have to take it to a court. I mean, it's a little different here in the United States because they're treated as a utility. But I mean, Twitter could do it. YouTube could do it. They could take us down right now just by using this website. I hate to say that, but they could.
Yeah, and they know your IP address, of course.
Yep.
Because it's YouTube.
Yeah. So this third point here, they want you to include a statement that you have a good faith belief that the content was removed or disabled as a result of mistake or misidentification of the user content. There's a lot to unpack in that one sentence. So what you're telling me is that, well, it's not that the information was not wrong, but it was posted in a way that it doesn't reflect my views. Like you guys were saying earlier, I moved from this house. I don't live there anymore, even though it violates their terms of service because they never give you consent to have that information to begin with. But I have to include a statement that I have good faith in the belief that the content was removed or disabled as the result of a mistake or misidentification. I never gave you consent to begin with. What the fuck? But
yeah, imagine saying threatening. Imagine talking about civil war while you're threatening this shit.
well, so here's the final point. And this is really the nail in the coffin. This should be the nail in the coffin. Point number 4. Your name, address, telephone number, and email address. A statement that you consent to the jurisdiction of the federal court in Salt Lake City, Utah. Someone should remember that. And a statement that you will accept service of process from the person who provided notification of the alleged infringement. In other words, dox yourself.
In other words, just basically, if you feel you've been wronged, dox yourself anyway.
and that is further further emphasized in this final point. It's not a bullet point, it's just their last paragraph. If a counter notice is received, you agree that PSMG may send a copy of the counter notice to the original complaining party, informing that person that it may replace the removed content or cease disabling it in 10 business days, unless the copyright owner, that would be PSMG, files an action seeking a court order against the content provider. I would like to know who that is. Member or user. The removed content may be replaced or access to it restored in 10 to 14 business days or more after receipt of the counter notice at PSMG's sole discretion. You acknowledge that if you fail to comply with all requirements of this section, your DMCA notice may not be valid. So if you want your information taken off, guess what? You got to follow all those 4 bullet points I laid out for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Mhm.
Otherwise, they're going to tell you, see this middle finger?
No.
Yep. Reinstate it. We're going to reinstate it in 10 to 14 business days, unless you dox yourself.
Yep. Oh, you know what you were saying earlier about somebody threatening you with civil war and all that?
No.
If somebody came to my door or anybody's door around here and did likewise, they'd end up leaving via ambulance. Seriously, that's what we're like in the UK. If somebody come to your door and start threatening you because of your political views, they would end up with something sticking out their head, wouldn't they, Yorkie?
Well, I mean, if
Oh,
you're
yeah.
Sounds
basically
about right.
if you're in a castle state doctrine fucking state, man, basically you get to have free to go to town privileges. Holy shit!
We don't have that, but we still do it. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing. This whole
it's
thing is.
it would be worse if you did it to an Englishman, because we don't have guns, so you're going to take a lot longer and a lot more pain to die.
Well, that being said, Northern Ireland does have castle doctrine.
That's Northern Ireland, though.
Yeah,
Again,
but it's still part of. But it's still
Real
part
quick.
of Britain.
Real quick, talking about this whole thing is wild to me because I skipped over this on Jesse's stream last night. Now that I've had a chance to read it in a little more detail, not only are they admitting that they're the copyright holder, but there's also a third party that's essentially doing the doxing. But if you don't like the information that's been put up, you have to dox yourself to get that information removed. And this company is saying that unless you fit all of these very specific criteria, which again is doxing yourself and essentially waiving your rights, even though you never consented to having your information put up on this website to begin with, then they can turn around and just put it back up and then also ignore your DMCA notice. How the hell?
Yeah, I mean, it's your information. So doxing yourself after they've already doxed you. Yeah, that's like, try to protect yourself that way. It's like, closing the barn door after the horse is bolted. Yeah, move to another state, raise a family, falls and died of old age. You might as well dox yourself by that. Hold on, you might as well dox yourself by that type thing. And yeah, the copyright holder. It's your information. You're the copyright holder, and the content creator. It's your information. You're the content creator.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh no, it's crazy because they're acknowledging that there is the copyright holder, which would be a public service media group.
Mm-hmm.
But they're acknowledging that there's a third party that's running this website who we still haven't been able to figure out who that is. I'm sure Class Action Lawsuit might figure that out. But then they're also saying that you essentially have to file a DMCA. And if you don't adhere to their guidelines and criteria, then they're going to ignore your DMCA, even though it's your information that they're posting publicly that you never consented to having been released. And they're going to tell you to essentially go shove it.
I hope they do this as somebody who's got the money and the sheer balls to just take the court and rip them to pieces. Oh, and can you answer Memes' question in the chat?
I'm sorry, I'm not Sounds like a counter notification like YouTube has for copyright. The person that put it up after you file a DMCA against them. Oh, you would have a point there, memes, except for one key problem. No one ever consented to having their information put on this database to begin with. I mean, if you consented to it, then yeah, sure. But I highly doubt anyone who donated to the Trump campaign consented to have their information put onto this website.
Yep.
And Miss Murder.
It's
Hello, killer woman.
It's very questionable.
Yes, she is very questionable. That's why she's called Ms. Murder.
Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah, I don't know how much I can beat this dead horse. I've given you guys as much information as I can about this.
Yep.
Please spread it around. If you know anyone who has donated to the Trump campaign, warn them. Let them know that this is a thing. It could be putting your life in danger or the life of your loved ones in danger or your neighbors. Even if your neighbors are Biden or Bernie or Yang supporters, this should not stand. This is not just a bridge too far. This is
Pearl Harbor.
this is a boat that is sinking.
No, this is Pearl fucking Harbor.
Yeah, this is insane. I myself am still shocked that this exists.
to be
But
honest, you should
if they
probably
had-
be
if they had-
prepared for the worst because I think this
if they
will
had-
get worse.
If they had the internet in 30s Germany, this is exactly what the Nazi Party would be doing.
Yeah.
And welcome back, murderous woman.
on that note, like I said, I've given you guys as much information as I can about this. I don't really know if there's any more to say about it. Spread it around, let people know, get the word out there. This is insane. But
you.
I'm gonna mute myself. I'm gonna let you guys just give your hot take on this because I got nothing else to say.
There's nothing else to say. We've said it all.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I guess.
Well,
actually
what-
no. I've got one thing. It's an act of cyber terrorism.
Well, that's exactly what it is that they are pulling out the threats.
Yeah.
No shit.
It's bad, isn't it?
imagine if it was the other way around. Imagine if this was like,
It would be shut down.
yeah,
Means-
like if people did this for anyone who donated to Biden or the Clintons, and they pulled this shit out.
Oh, if it was anybody doing it to the Clintons, then nobody have to do anything because they'd have tragic accidents, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they would accidentally commit suicide. Everyone knows this.
Shooting themselves 3 times in the back of their head.
It's impressive, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's the
Really
fact they
impressive.
reloaded twice.
While they were asleep.
And handcuffed.
I know. Truly, the world is an outstanding place.
What amazes me is how
sorry.
they managed to put their feet in their cement overshoes and then jump in the river while handcuffed.
Clever, aren't they?
Yeah.
I would suggest that, not that I expect anyone to be able to, but if you can get this to your president, do so, because this is a freaking joke, okay? This is not funny anymore. Someone that has the ability to do something has to do something.
It has to be, it needs to be officially investigated.
Yeah, someone's gonna get hurt. That's for sure. And it's only gonna get worse.
Speaking personally, if I'd have come across this and it was aimed at Biden supporters, I'd be raising just as much a ruckus.
Yeah.
What I want to emphasize about this, and I know I've said it before, so I apologize for bringing this up, but it needs to be emphasized. They got this information from the SEC. That's a government organization.
FEC.
Yeah. Again, that's a government. This should never have happened. This should never have been allowed to happen. But
It
yet
shouldn't.
here it is, and they're openly admitting that this is where we got the info from, guys, from a government website, the Federal Election Committee.
It's
How?
like it's like me if I was working for the civil service, taking information from the national electoral database and selling it onto ad companies.
Miss Murder actually is illegal, and not in the sense that
It is
you're-
actually, yes, because it's breaking what the hell they call the privacy laws.
Yeah, it's the fact that it's the fact that they're putting their information out there. They're giving your full legal first and last name and your address and how much money you donated on a public database that does not require anyone to sign into it or do anything else. And it is there for everyone to see. That is indeed illegal.
Well, especially if it's being backed up with the use of threats, of course, which is
Yeah.
that's going to be one of the big deal breakers if this gets thrown into court.
And using the FEC, I'd say that is an illegality.
Yeah.
And that's why sorry, Cass, I started to cut you off.
Go ahead.
That's why even in their terms of service, they explicitly say putting that information out there without the consent of the party, which is where this is really going to go to court, and that's what's going to be argued: is did you give consent? I'm sure that someone. Yeah, I'm going to donate to the Trump campaign. Here's my first and last name. Here's my address. Here's my money. Yada yada yada. I consent to this, but I highly doubt anyone consented to having their information getting released to a third party so it could be put up on a database. Was consented to. That's why this is illegal.
I would agree. In fact, I'm going to agree.
And that's the thing; it goes against their own terms of service. So whoever is running this website, Public Service Media Group, you guys might want to terminate your contract really quick because you might be looking at a class action lawsuit. Because I can't see any logical way that somebody would consent to having their personal information put out there like this. Donating to a campaign is one thing. Having that information getting leaked to a third party so it can be put out on a public database, published by a third party, information that was acquired from a government website, no, that is not legal.
Hold on. Doxing. In short, no. If you're getting your information from a publicly accessible website.
Yeah.
And that's why they have that consent clause in there. That just because you donated to a campaign, it's not the same thing as having a mugshot. That is not publicly accessible legal information. That means someone leaked it. Someone got it through nefarious means. And now that it's being published by a third party, no, that is not legal.
And it's no longer doxing.
Well, and that's the thing. These people didn't commit a crime. They donated to a political campaign. There was a big difference.
Yeah, because it's a fucking political matter, and the fact that you can be threatened out of donating, which causes quite the political problem. You see where this is going. The coercion involved in this is already illegal enough, highly so.
I mean, I'm sure there's certain loopholes in interpretation and how the language is set up, where it's like, well, they consented to having their information recorded because they donated to a political campaign. Yeah, sure, that's fine. You can make that argument. But they didn't consent to having it published by a third party so that somebody can just look it up willy-nilly. Yeah, that is different. This website is different. You're not going to the FEC website. You're going to this website to get information that is provided by the FEC without the consent of someone who is now having their public information posted for everyone to see, me included. I did it. We saw it on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way that's legal. And if it is, if for some reason a court rules that is legal, then that's even more disturbing because that needs to be addressed. Because that again, like I said, that's disturbing. That should not be allowed to happen.
No, it's It's very politically motivated. You know what they're doing. They're threatening people with this shit, and they know full well that while they're releasing these threats to people through paper, what they honestly know what's going to happen if they continue the site in its existence. This isn't just doxing. This is they are fully aware that people are going to use this to do some illegal shit. For example, and this is why I'm telling you people, if you want to protect yourself on the internet, learn your fucking tech. There are entire search engines designed from the ground up where instead of looking up for information, you're looking up routers and IP addresses and how like fucking, cameras and shit. Imagine if someone went to this website, saw your address, and then used those other things to look into your networks and stuff to do some nefarious shit. That could be easily done now because they know your address.
Miss
Here you
Burr
go.
said, let's face it, no one offline will look at this information, this lies until several people die from the violations it will cause. Who's to say that hasn't already happened? I mean, really don't know. No one's been talking about this in a great extent, but we do know that at least one person has been targeted, even if it's just getting a piece of paper taped to their front door.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, and let's be blunt about it, this database does exist. It has your first and last name. It identifies you as a Trump supporter. Do you think nefarious things aren't going to happen as a result of this website existing? It's already in violation of the hosting website, the copyright holder. It's already in violation of their terms of service. We don't know who the third party is. We know they're getting their information from the FEC. I don't know what to say about this. I don't know how to convince you that this is illegal on so many fucking levels.
Yeah, this isn't the same, okay, I know this website is an offshoot of an already established similar website known as a Neighborhood Watch, which, it shows the location, address, names, and of course the conviction numbers and, what a sex offender has actually done. But that's public record stuff. This is different because the people involved are private individuals. They're not added to a public record in the same way.
And again, that brings me back to my point. It's not like these people consented to having their information put into a database. It's not like these people committed a crime and got arrested and got a mugshot. That their first and last name, their address, that's not public information.
I mean, if it you also have to understand that it's kind of a reason why IP addresses tend to give you just a general location, as it is. If this website's going the extra mile to give you everything else, then yeah, that could be argued as a problem.
Oh, they're not even doing that. They're going to the extent of telling you when the last donation you made to the Trump campaign was.
Yep.
I don't see how that's public information.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not.
Especially since these people are not added to a public registry that I know of that they're using for this. So, yeah.
I mean, if they said they were getting it from the Department of Justice and these people were criminals, and maybe you would have an argument. But what crime have these people committed aside from, I don't know, in the minds of whoever is running this website and set it up, donating to a political campaign that is against your ideology? That's not a crime. That tells me that somebody inside the FEC is leaking information. This should be investigated.
Mm-hmm.
Quite heavily, yeah. Because this is basically coercion. They're threatening people look, if you do this, we're going, someone we don't like, you're paying money to, we're going to put it out there so that people will know. And they're knowing full well what they're doing, which is why the whole paper shit's thrown out there going I hope you had insurance, and they've obviously gloating about the fact that people's houses are probably going to get burned, people are going to get hurt over this, and they're okay with it. So you got threats, you got coercion, and you got political motivation. as to why they're doing it.
And that's what Miss Murder just said real quick. Does hurt people who are seen as protected, so no one will care until someone innocent dies. Well, that's the reason we're talking about it now, because we don't want to see it come to that. This needs to be called out right now before that actually is allowed to happen.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying around here as well, is protect yourself. Learn tech. And I fucking mean it. Don't ignore this advice. Learn this, because it's going to get worse from here. You really need to learn how networks and computers and shit works if you're going to use the internet at this point, because any failure to do so, these people will exploit it and will fuck with you. They made it very clear they're going to go that far and dirty. In the world of the internet, it's very easy to do a lot of this really shady shit behind the scenes and getting away with it, because most people do not possess the knowledge, time, or resources to figure that shit out. For fuck's sakes, well, these hacking groups and shit and scammers, and the cops barely do anything. Do you honestly think they have time and resources? No, barely any of the departments have the knowledge to deal with this cyber crimes bullshit. There's a reason why you need to learn this shit, and you probably need to learn it soon and be careful. At least just enough to protect yourself and realize, what am I doing today with this search result, or doing this or that might end up with more people knowing more of my data and thus putting me in danger. You got to remember that, because it's only going to get worse. And you should probably be suspicious of who's sending this information. If a government agency, group, or whatever is releasing this shit, yeah, you should also be even more concerned, because you can't trust them anymore. You shouldn't. You shouldn't trust any of these companies. You should not even trust your government with your information at this point. There's a reason why people flip their shit about NASA. People don't realize how much of a backdoor NASA. No, sorry, not NASA. You know, I had to say it. How much of a backdoor it was. With oh, no, it's okay, guys. We're just looking through your calls. It's okay. We're doing this.
You mean no such agency?
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's like 6 a.m. for me right now. I haven't slept at all for
that's what NSA stands for. No such agency.
It's with the type of things where all those back doors and shit. People don't seem to realize how much your own government has literally fucked away your security and has only made it easier for very savvy people to ruin your life in some way. And it's only going to get worse, because they don't care at this point. There's people who are clearly saying, we're going to try to fuck with your life because you like a orange man in office. That's how stupid this is.
Oh, Miss Murder says wrong thing. Yeah, it is 1984. That's why I suggested that being the subtext of the stream.
Protect your shit. Careful.
Well, the other thing that we have to point out is not only do they have a doxing database for people who support the Orange Man, but they also have the protect the vote. I know Tim Pool talked about this one, protectthevote.com or .org. I forget which it is.
Yeah.
But where if Donald Trump refuses to concede, as Tim Pool said, they think he's gonna lose. They think they're gonna win. And
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and if he doesn't, well, Donald Trump's refusing to concede, and they have locations already set up. They have essentially waypoints, rallying points, whatever you want to call them. So not only do they have a database of people who supported Trump, but they have a time, a rallying point. They know where you are. They know where you live. I'm sure Jensen could back me up on this one. This is how you would structure a perceived armed conflict before you strap on your boots. This sounds like prepping.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's basically they're trying to force you into stopping from doing anything before it happens.
I mean,
if you try to go against us in any way, if we do some seriously illegal shit, we'll threaten your fucking family's information, where you live and everything. That's why I'm saying be careful, because it's probably going to get worse than just you donated to someone, here's your information. It could be just you said something online and your ISP knows, and we found it through that because they're willing to do that, because a website or if you are already breaking those rules, therefore it's okay now. Therefore, we're going to fuck with you because you made a post defending a fucking Cheeto man. That
Well,
sounds
again,
ridiculous now, but that's going to happen. I guarantee it.
It kind of already does.
Well, again, like I said, we've already gone into the idea of priming because that's what this is. This is priming. This is getting people used to the idea that there will be riots. There will be people who
Blood.
believe that. Yeah, there will be people that believe that he's the Don is not conceding the election, even though whether he wins or loses on November 3rd, you're already priming people for the idea that we're going to have a violent uprising. There will be blood spilled, and so what are they doing? How do you conduct a military operation? The first thing is you have to have information. So I need to know where the enemy is. I need to know where to rally my forces. I need to know where the most resistance or least resistance is going to be. And I need to plan accordingly. Well,
The best way to beat the enemy is to beat them before you actually start fighting.
That's the thing. So if you have a database, you know who the Trump donors are, you know how much they've donated, you know where they're located, you know their names, you know their addresses, and then also now you have these rallying points, and you have this this idea of priming that's going on now, saying if Donald Trump doesn't concede, then we're going to riot. You've already made that idea mainstream. It's been talked about on Fox and CNN and MSNBC. Well, you have all those pieces of the puzzle set in place. My forces are assembled. They know where to go. They know where the enemy is. They know who's the prime target. That's the number one step of any major military operation, and that's what this really does look like, and that's why I find it concerning. It does seem like whether it's consciously or subconsciously, they're trying to put that idea in people's heads that, yeah, go ahead and be a useful idiot and go out there and fight. Go attack this person because they donated $20 to a political campaign.
Yeah, it's basically just a more retarded game of threatening people into submission. Be like we don't like you for this, and if you try to impede our own power any further, and give this the Orange Man any ability to win over us, we're going to basically fuck with your family. That's the short and skinny of this whole website by its design. And I'm going to guarantee you that's probably going to be more of these type of websites. Probably
Actually,
for anything else.
There's another reason why it should be investigated and pulled down. It's interfering with the election.
Well, yeah, that's exactly the point of it. It's coercion. It's trying to. It's essentially saying it's essentially scaring people into submission. That's the point. That's why it's interfering with shit. And afterwards, it's probably going to be used as you know, suggested. It's database in which those names will be put somewhere in the event that some certain people will go ahead and do this or that because civil war is now. The Boogaloo's arrived. People will be instantly targeted for it.
Well, hey, yeah, it's like how Maxine Waters said, you go out there and you form a crowd and you let them know you're not welcome here, even if it means they're not welcome in their own house. Because, as that one jack-off said, I forget his name, we need to remove these people from our society.
Yes, it's a game of psychological warfare.
So yeah, that's exactly the purpose that this type of website exists for. And the other thing that's important to point out, and this is kind of the white pill of the morning. At least these idiots don't understand the art of war well enough to realize you played your hand and you showed it too quickly, because now we can point it out before anything bad ever happens.
Or if some bad shit does happen, which I still believe is likely, at least it probably won't be catastrophic in the same way if it wasn't already called out.
And don't get me wrong, there's probably still going to be unfortunate incidents where someone will, I'll bet money on it right now, someone will probably lose their life because this DonaldTrump.watch website exists. Someone probably will lose their life because of it. And it's sad to say, but it's true.
Well, I
Yes, it
mean,
is.
it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the Trump guy. 'Cause, I mean, a lot of people who bought Trump own guns, so they could easily end up shooting said attacker. And
Well,
if they decided to dox and attack someone in their own home, they deserve to be shot.
and I'm not saying that it's going to be a Trump supporter or a Biden supporter. I'm just saying someone is probably going to lose their life because this website exists. For what reason or why, I don't know. I'm not a prophet. I can't predict the future. But because this website exists and because we have the type of political environment that we have currently, that probably will happen. We've already had someone allegedly had a piece of paper on their front door saying, "I hope you have fire insurance," alluding to the fact that while you're sleeping, we're going to light your house on fire. Yeah, there's a lot of people in this country. There's a lot of people who are willing to commit acts of violence. So it would be surprising if no one has a negative experience because of the existence of this website and due to the political division and discourse in this country. But it's better we talk about it now and get the word out there so that casualties can be kept to a minimum or avoided completely. That would be preferable.
I would also say that the irony of all of this, or at least personally, I think it's kind of sort of a irony scenario is the people doing this don't realize that this is the internet. When you're doing stuff like this, the only thing you're doing in the end is opening a can of worms that cannot just be put back into its place anymore. And when that happens, you have to realize the very tools and things you're doing will eventually be used against you and your group just as much as it can be used against your opponents. This is the way of the internet and how it's always been. It's the reason why when government entities use back doors into people's stuff, even regular ass hackers who are not anywhere associated with the government will still eventually find that too. This is the nature of the internet. Any tool or exploit, advantage, vulnerability that you're using will be found out and also utilized by your opponents. The only thing you're doing is going to bite your ass eventually as well. And the irony of it is I'm pretty sure these people will not learn that lesson.
That was exactly
honestly,
my point.
but here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. It's not okay if it happens to them, but it's perfectly okay if it happens to someone they don't like. Like I was trying to tell you, no one, and I mean no one, who has not grown up with the internet, who does not understand the consequences, who does not see the writing on the wall, is going to care. No one is going to care, unfortunately. Doxing is not illegal. I'm looking up the FEC things right now, and to be perfectly honest, I don't think anything that's on there is illegal, technically. It's skirting the line, yes.
It depends how they got the information. Doxing in itself is not
it greatly
illegal.
depends on how they got the information. But since we can't prove that, charges can't be filed.
Yeah.
And
That's why it needs investigating.
But
that's the big question is, well, first off, not only how did they get the information, but second off, they already said it themselves. No, I highly doubt anybody gave consent to have their information.
But here's the thing:
published by a third party.
Well, we don't promote doxing. We don't promote doxing on this website? Is that anywhere on there, in any way, shape, or form?
Yes, in their terms, they actually say promote putting out somebody's name, phone number, address.
Oh, okay.
Without
so then,
their consent, it
why
goes
are we even
completely
talking
against.
about this?
No, that's my point.
But no, that's not the. But Doku, they already said it.
Yeah, but then that
There's
means
no way
this
in
website should
fucking
be
hell.
Well,
That's the thing,
we know
this
they don't
website
mean
should
it.
No, it
taken down.
doesn't, because then it would be a violation of free speech.
Well, we know they don't actually mean it, but they're saying it there just for the sake of saying it for probably for
Yes,
legal
for the
reasons.
legality. For
Yeah.
the legality. They are going to get off scot-free.
Either
It
way,
does not matter.
whether they
How
get
many
off
people die
whether they
from
get off whether they get off scot free or not is not the point. What I'm saying is that they've
still needs to be
already
brought to light.
they've already gone against what their own terms of service set forth, because again,
Mhm.
consent. They at least have to consent.
Oh, who
And then-
cares? They're just internet people.
Okay, we're not talking about the Tonka
No,
ban.
I know. I'm playing devil's advocate here. This is what they're going to argue.
They're not real people. They're just figures on the internet.
Either
Yeah, but they're Trump
I-
supporters, but they're racist, but they're this, but they're that.
yeah, that's perfectly fine. But either
Look,
way,
no
this
one's gonna
website
care, honestly.
this website should still
Yeah,
be
it should
taken
be.
down
I
just
agree.
to remove
Yeah.
it. And
I
that's
hate that.
that's my
Yeah, it's good.
real quick, Batman, Miss Murder. Whether somebody pays the way that they should pay for doing this in the first place, that's not my point. My point is that this website should be taken down so that any negative implications from this website simply existing can be kept to a minimum. Get rid of it immediately, put it on blast, talk about it, make sure everyone knows about it. Get rid of it now as quickly as possible before it becomes worse. That's why I want to
That's not
talk
how
about this.
society is, though, Doku.
I
That's not
know
how,
that,
how
but
society is.
I understand that,
It's
but
not
it's
gonna
still
happen.
better.
Sam,
But
let him
it's
finish.
still better. It's still better that we talk about this now and put it on blast and let people know so that they can be aware of it. Because if we just don't talk about it and just resign ourselves to the nihilistic aspect of, yeah, this is how things are, it's the internet, et cetera, that is going to lead to worse implications and worse repercussions than if we talk about it now and make sure that this shit gets nixed in the bud as quickly as fucking possible. And that's the only reason I want to talk about it. Because there's already been negative implications that have come from the existence of this website. I understand that. And I understand that you're not going to get rid of it. There's going to be loopholes, people that should answer for being complete pieces of shit and doing things that should be illegal. Nothing good is going to come of it just by ignoring it. We have to at least address the issue. That's my
I'm
point.
not saying ignore it. I'm not saying ignore it.
I'm
What I
not saying
am
that that's
saying-
what you were suggesting. I'm not saying that's what you're suggesting. I'm just trying to make my point
What
clear.
I am saying, though, is that when it comes to the human psyche, there is a bit of a disconnect when it comes to the internet.
Well, I
There's-
mean,
the whole entire argument is kind of based on whether or not people care. And the fact is that they don't. We care because we understand it. But
it's
Well, to
99% of the people out there aren't.
sorry, real quick, Yorkie. Miss Murder, to a degree, yes, you're correct. Except the only reason I even knew about this instance was because someone had a piece of paper taped to their front door. And I guarantee you it's not just a one-off. Give it 48 hours.
No, it's not going to be. Honestly, I'm expecting the news to be covering at least 5 deaths.
I believe it.
That is how many lives it's going to take.
No, I believe it. It wouldn't
That's
surprise
how
me.
much. That's how many lives.
Well,
it's
knowing
gonna
how
take
crazy
before
these type of
actually
people are,
see it.
yeah, definitely a few entire cul-de-sacs and neighborhoods will definitely be burned before something is talked about this in a news media sense. But if I'm going to be completely honest, I think people are flawed if they're expecting God, I hate using this word. If you're expecting normies to change anything, you're fucking retarded. The battleground is here on the internet. Focus on that.
No, that's fair. And sorry, Yorkie, we talked over you. Yorkie, go ahead.
I was going to say about the whole people don't care. It's not because it's the internet, they don't understand the internet. It's more of the world's just too big to actually give a shit about every single person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most people just
that
concentrate
too.
on themselves and those that they immediately know.
Yeah.
Well, part of the fear tactic is scaring your associates of your enemies to the point that they have to try to disassociate from this in some way, in the same way that some people could potentially be ousted for having these donations because it'd be like, oh, our community is probably going to get burned down because, Miss Susie just fucking donated to Trump. We're probably going to get her shit burned down by a bunch of angry fucking communist, fucking anarchist retards. That's also going to be a factor you might have to contend with.
Yeah.
People ousting each other to protect themselves and their own skin is a definite possibility.
Is anyone else having flashbacks to the Red Scare?
Pretty much.
Well,
Yeah.
the 50s.
I'm not that old.
Red Scare, Fahrenheit
none of us do
451, Brave New World, 1984,
God
Animal
we-
Farm, same thing.
The
All
last
the
time,
same shit.
we didn't have it as nearly as bad in the UK as you do. And now, thanks to the internet and modern communications, we are. Only
But here's the
we
thing.
have an Extinction Rebellion over here now.
Oh,
Antifa and BLM, let's face it, they're dangerous. Extinction Rebellion, that's like Benny Hill version of Antifa.
Looks pretty real now,
Oh.
bro. Yeah.
I'd say
Aren't-
that
Isn't that the
Yeah.
environmental terrorist group?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the ones that every time they try something, they fuck it up.
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
they're more like Peter than Antifa.
That's fair.
They're more
But-
like George Zippy and Bungle and Antifa.
I remember one clip where
Right. Here's the thing, though. Can we just call them what they actually are?
Idiots.
They're domestic terrorists. No, they're domestic terrorists.
Which ones? Antifa?
Antifa,
BLM?
BLM is not to that point, unfortunately. And I hate saying
yeah,
it.
only just. They're skirting it very closely, though.
Mhm. But I think we're focusing on the wrong people. People don't
Yeah,
act by
the people who are
themselves.
funding these groups.
Yes. Who keeps bailing these people out? Who
Usually,
keeps funding this?
usually Democrats in it in America.
Oh yeah, they openly admit that.
So
And
what?
Kamala Harris was out there saying, "Hey, donate to this.
Oh, yeah.
Donate to this GoFundMe or this or that. And go ahead and bail out. Go ahead and bail out the people that were throwing Molotov cocktails at the federal building or the police
Honestly,
precinct."
You know what?
Okay.
I honestly believe you should not be able to start a GoFundMe to get bail money for anyone.
No, you shouldn't.
Honestly,
No, because
I'm
bail is
sorry.
there for a reason.
but no. But you shouldn't be able to go onto the internet and say, "Oh, hey, let's go bail this person out." No, that stays local. That stays within the affected area. Fuck that.
Actually,
I
funny
also
enough,
don't believe that courts should be giving out monetary gains to people, because that's another thing that fucking pisses me off. But that's neither here nor there.
funny enough, there was.
I think the only way that people would actually care about this is if it actually affected a protected party, which it doesn't.
Well, funny enough, there was a strategist group. Yeah, one of those groups that's like, this is the way we see things going, and we're gonna give you our insight so that you can position yourself to be profitable in the future. Yada yada yada. It's the Benenson Strategic Group, and they're obviously very left, very left leaning. All of their supporters are left leaning. Their political affiliates, it's all the Obama campaign, Hillary campaign, so obviously far left. One of their corporate customers happens to be GoFundMe.
How about that? See,
No food.
Oh, shock and awe. Shock and awe. I am so absolutely surprised. Can you hear it in my voice?
Yeah, actually, I
yeah.
can. Yeah, you sound really surprised and shocked.
Did I get that British sarcasm correct, Jensen?
Yes, you did.
I covered it. Yes.
Yes,
I'm okay.
yes. We'll be,
I feel
Ms. Murder, we will be sending you your passport in the post.
Sweet. Jensen, I'm coming over.
No, you didn't get that
uh,
real good, Brad.
Yes, and we'll be sending you your bus ticket as well.
Sweet.
We have a seat because we have got the secret tunnel to America.
Awesome.
Don't tell them
Awesome.
that. They'll
Keep
walk
it fucking-
through.
Yeah,
Bitch,
well,
I'll fucking swim the angry Atlantic. I'll swim across this motherfucking pond at this point. Fuck it.
With the way things are going, it's probably not a bad idea.
there's murder photos, or you didn't do it.
Well, with the way this year's
Actually,
been,
I have
we're
been
not gonna find a
I have
fucking see them
both
off.
oceans.
You have been in what?
I actually have swam in both oceans. Funny enough.
Yeah, but you haven't swam them.
He has a point.
Let's be real. If she tried to swim across, knowing the way this year's been, she'll find a fucking xenomorph.
No, she gets sunk by an iceberg.
Jesus.
No. Watch what's gonna happen. I'm gonna find that fucking xenomorph. I'm going to fucking manage to fucking lasso that bitch, and I'm gonna ride it into London.
And you'd find the world's only vegan xenomorph.
That's the worrying part.
With the way this year is going and the way my luck is going, you know what? That's not outside the realm of possibility.
To be honest,
I'm still waiting for Cthulhu.
even though it's a fucking xenomorph, that still feels like animal cruelty.
Isn't that an alien creature that turns into a warrior princess?
Oh, damn it.
He did.
Fuck
He
off,
went
Batman.
Okay, ladies,
Batman, you're a
sorry,
fucking
it's an extrapolation from an entry in the Urban Dictionary.
All right,
Xenomorph.
real
Morbid
quick, pause
fit-
everybody. I
oh,
think
oh.
Jensen has something to say. I think it's a little late for him. He wants to get
Yeah.
going.
ladies, gentlemen, and Yorkie, it is. I think we've said everything we need to.
And some.
Quite simply, people need to get word out. I'm just hoping they do. I'll be bringing this to an end now. So, any last words?
Yep.
I've said everything I need to say. So last thoughts are
Yeah,
up to the rest of the panel.
Last words. Well, if anybody's going to France or Holland for the holidays, make sure to bloat a few fishing boats.
Agree.
I'm fine with that.
Giant Meteor 2021.
I've got 20, leave it on 56. Leave it 20 years.
Oh boy! All right, Yorkie, do you have anything else to
End
add?
it off.
No, I've spoke my piece.
All right, Cass Warfox, you still with us?
Yeah. What's up?
All right, last words, final thoughts.
Let's see. I'll make it as brief as I can.
I'll take your time, man.
Protect. Let's see. I think it's important for you people to realize that gotta protect yourselves. Learn to code. Learn some Linux. Stop being a normie fag, and you might be good. There you go.
All right. Well,
Embrace the autism.
with those words of wisdom,
Join the cannibal cult.
Miss Murder, Yorkie, Batman, Cass Warfox, thank you for joining us. Like I said, important discussion, important things to talk about. Please, anybody listening to us, share this around, get the word out there. It is worth talking about. Jensen, thank you for hosting the stream, and we're out.
Oh yeah, you forgot one more important thing.
Go on.
Oh,
Hail
yeah.
Hydra!
Bye, everybody.
Yeah.
Bye bye, everybody. Bye bye.